In March 1982, exactly 25 years ago, Britain was plunged into an international crisis as hostile Argentinian forces invaded the Falkland Islands. The British government was initially taken by surprise, and as the diplomats debated the crisis at the UN, Britain's Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, resolved to launch a Royal Navy task force to engage the Argentine Navy and Air Force and retake the islands by force. Navy news editor Sarah Fletcher looks back on the conflict for 2/6 and tells us about this year's planned commemorations.
25 years ago, this is where it all began. This is where a large part of the task force left Portsmouth, heading down to a very uncertain and possibly bloody conflict in the South Atlantic. This is also where thousands and thousands of people lined the quaysides and the jetties to wave those ships off, with a lot of hope in their hearts, but an awful lot of uncertainty about what might happen next. The Navy hadn't really been involved in anything on quite this scale since the Second World War. A few minor operations, but nothing quite like this. And only the Navy could save the Falklands at the time, because only they had the means to get everybody there and to fight whatever conflict might happen. Strangely enough, the Falklands campaign was fought against the background of very severe threatened cuts to the Navy, and many of the ships that went down there were on the point of being sold. If in fact this hadn't happened, Invincible was nearly being sold to the Australians, and Hermes, Fearless and Endurance were all going to be mothballed. Of course, this campaign put a stop to all that. The Falklands campaign did masses to actually raise the Navy's profile and to make people realise what a modern, relevant force it was. The Navy lost 6 ships and the armed forces lost about 255 people. The Falkland Islanders lost 3. The difference in media coverage between 1982 and now is absolutely staggering. Back in 82, photographs had to be posted back and brought by sea, and sometimes you didn't see them for weeks and weeks. You didn't always hear that a ship had actually been sunk until many, many hours afterwards. Nowadays, you'd probably be able to see that if the media are out there almost as it happened. And it's interesting, isn't it, to think what difference that might have made to the morale of the people back at home if they could have seen things like that, if they could have seen those events as they unfolded. Nationwide, there are quite a lot of commemorations. There's going to be a big event in Horse Guards Parade in June, and a special commemorative service in Pangbourne Chapel, which has a dedicated memorial to the Falklands. There's also going to be something in the Falklands Islands, of course, and at Navy News we're getting more and more news of ships and associations which are holding their own private commemorations 25 years on.
And you can get further details on the website www.falklands25.com.